How do you actually put yourself in a position to do a deal a month? Well, you need to start working backwards and start thinking about your funnel from an acquisition standpoint. You need to think about how many offers you need to make. And before you even get there, you need to think about how many deals you need to underwrite. How many conversations do you need to have with brokers or sellers?
Welcome to the Multifamily Wealth Podcast. I'm your host, Axel Ragnarsson, and on this show, I dissect how seasoned multifamily investors started, built, and scaled their businesses.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another quick solo episode here on the Multifamily Wealth Podcast, the last episode of 2023. And I hope everybody had a good Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy holidays, whatever you were celebrating. I hope it was a great last couple of weeks, and I hope everybody finishes the year strong as well. And speaking of finishing 2023 and heading into 2024, I wanted to do a very brief solo episode as it relates to setting goals for the upcoming year. And around this time, I think social media and email marketing, newsletters and podcasts are just filled with content around people's goals for 2024. And oftentimes it's the kind of the outcome metrics, as I like to call it, right? The endgame metrics, the units acquired, the deals done, the revenue generated, etc. And I'm not a big fan of setting those types of goals. We do it, right, because we want to know where we're going. But in terms of what we actually track on a regular basis and what I care about tracking, it's all of the process stuff, right? And I think a lot of folks, this is probably going to be a familiar concept. So this is going to be a shorter episode. But for those that are not familiar with setting process-oriented goals, I highly recommend you do that for this upcoming year. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how we do that in our business. So, for example, let's say you want to buy 100 units in 2024, right? You've got this goal, I want to buy 100 units of multifamily. Well, you need to then break it down into what has to happen on a regular basis. And you can define that time interval however you'd like. Let's just say monthly, right? On a monthly basis, you're going to need to buy just over 8 units a month, give or take. So what does that mean? How big is your average deal? What types of properties are you pursuing? How many deals are you then going to have to find? How many properties are you going to need to buy? Let's say your average deal is 8 units, right? Okay, perfect. Well, you're going to need to buy 12 deals in 2024 to get to that 100 units. So how do you get to 12 deals? How do you actually put yourself in a position to do a deal a month? Well, you need to start working backwards and start thinking about your funnel from an acquisition standpoint. You need to think about how many offers you need to make. And before you even get there, you need to think about how many deals you need to underwrite. How many conversations do you need to have with brokers or sellers? And a lot of folks don't have this information, and it's really hard information to actually track and to develop, even if you're trying to. So I'm not saying that you need to have this information, but you need to be thinking about the activity required to generate that result. So let me share an example, right? In our business, we want to buy roughly 200, 250 units, and it depends on the class, right? We want to buy about 100 units of Class B and 150 units of Class C multifamily in 2024. It's a very ambitious goal for us. So what do we need to do in order to put ourselves in a position to earn the right to buy those deals? Well, our average deal is roughly 20 doors in size. So we're going to have to do about 10 of those deals, 12 of those deals in order to get there. So we need to do one of these deals per month, right? And we know that to secure a deal, we need to make roughly 30 to 35 offers, depending on the deal size, to get a deal under contract. So we need to make that per month. We need to make 30 to 35 offers per month in order to achieve that goal. In order to make 30 to 35 offers a month, we need to send direct mail to a list of 2,000 folks on a monthly basis. We need to make roughly 1,000 outbound cold calls a month. We need to send our email marketing newsletter each month. We need to connect with roughly 5 brokers a week in terms of maintaining those relationships. And we need to do everything else we need to do to show up in terms of delivering value on social media, building relationships with other deal finders, etc., to put ourselves in a position to make those 30 offers. Now, that's what we know in our business because we've tracked it over the last 12 months. So we know what activity is required to put ourselves in a position to where we're making 30 offers. And we're probably going to need to make more than that. But what that does is it allows us to set that goal. On a monthly basis, we got to make 30 offers. If we make 30 offers a month throughout the entire year, we're likely going to be in a position where we can achieve that goal, that outcome goal, that results goal of a couple hundred units and change. And if we wanted to take it a step further, we could even go further in terms of, mail pieces, in terms of conversations, etc. We like to set goals around offers because that is the fundamental thing we can control. You make more offers, you do more deals. It's very, very simple. It's a very straight line between the two. So to summarize, if you're setting a deal goal, if you're setting a units acquired goal, you need to then back up into the process steps, the steps in the process that put you in a position to achieve that goal. And then you need to set actionable goals around that. And what that does is it allows you to control your results because we can control our inputs. We can't necessarily control the outputs. And even if you do all the things that you've worked backwards and defined, you may still not hit your goal, but at least you've defined it and you're able to control it in terms of controlling your output. So, timely episode, obviously, because we're closing out the year. And I know a lot of folks out there are probably setting their 2024 goals. So instead of just saying you want to buy a couple hundred doors or you want to go raise X amount of dollars if you're on the capital raising side, or you want to broker this many deals if you're a broker, set some goals that you can actually take a look at on a monthly and a weekly basis to track how you're making progress to that ultimate outcome or results-oriented goal itself. So if you found this helpful, please leave the show a rating and a review. Let's close out the year strong with some ratings. I think we're pretty close to 250 right now. We might be at 245 or so by the time this comes up. Would love to end the year at 255-star reviews. It's a massive milestone for the show. If you haven't already and you feel like you've learned something on this podcast, please consider taking 15, 20 seconds and doing so if you're on Apple. You can also leave a review if on Spotify as well. But thanks again for everyone who has listened throughout 2023 and even in past years. And next 2 weeks, we're going to be taking off. Next episode comes out January 5th, so after the new year. And again, hope everybody has a great new year. Please leave the show a rating and a review, and I'll catch you guys in 2024.